Hello, and welcome to the Sleep with Science channel. Tonight we'll set out on a tranquil journey beneath the waves, exploring 100 mind-blowing facts about the ocean. A vast and mysterious world that covers more than 70% of our planet. From ancient shipwrecks resting on the seafloor to creatures that glow in the dark, and underwater mountain ranges that rise higher than many mountains on land, the ocean holds wonders that are both beautiful and surprising. So lie back, breathe slowly, and let your thoughts drift like gentle tides as we uncover the secrets of Earth's largest habitat. Whether you're here to relax, to learn, or simply to fall asleep, these calming stories and fascinating truths will guide you into a peaceful night. Let's begin. There are more historical artifacts underwater than on land. When we imagine history, we often picture ruins, temples, and relics resting in the open air. Yet beneath the sea, the world is holding an even greater collection of human stories. Across thousands of years, ships have vanished in storms, harbors have slipped beneath rising waters, and entire settlements have been swallowed by the sea. Many of these submerged sites preserve objects in remarkable condition, because low oxygen and stable temperatures can slow decay and protect fragile materials. Hidden beneath the waves are sunken Roman cargo ships, and places like the submerged city of Pavlopetri in Greece, one of the oldest known underwater cities. Today, modern tools such as sonar mapping and underwater robots help archaeologists reveal these quiet time capsules, opening vast chapters of human history that have remained concealed for centuries beneath the shifting ocean. Some jellyfish can live forever through biological immortality. While most living creatures age and eventually die, certain jellyfish species can escape death in an astonishing way. The best-known example is Turritopsis dohrnii, often called the immortal jellyfish. When faced with injury, stress, or the wear of aging, it can transform its cells back to an earlier developmental stage, essentially resetting its life cycle. This process, known as transdifferentiation, allows the jellyfish to revert into a juvenile polyp form before growing back into adulthood. Because this cycle can repeat again and again, these jellyfish may have the potential to live indefinitely, unless they are killed by disease or predators. Their strange ability challenges how we understand aging, and it continues to fascinate scientists studying regeneration and cellular renewal. Some fish can change their gender as they mature. In many fish species, individuals have the remarkable ability to change sex during their lifetime. This phenomenon, called sequential hermaphroditism, allows a fish to switch from male to female or from female to male, depending on social signals or environmental conditions. Clownfish, for example, are typically born male and can become female if the dominant female in their group dies. In other species, the pattern is reversed. Some begin life as females and later shift into males. This flexibility helps populations remain stable and ensures reproduction can continue even when conditions change. It's another reminder of how adaptable marine life can be, shaped by the demands of survival beneath the sea. The biggest mountain ranges in the world are underwater, Beneath the waves lies an ocean landscape shaped by immense mountain chains. Structures so vast they stretch far beyond anything we see on land. The mid-ocean ridges form a continuous system that circles the globe, stretching more than 65,000 kilometers, far longer than the Andes or the Himalayas. These underwater mountains mark places of powerful tectonic activity, where plates pull apart and new ocean crust is formed. They influence ocean currents, shape habitats, and even affect the geology of the entire planet. The seafloor is not quiet or still. It is alive with slow, steady motion. Some marine algae can grow over a meter per day. Certain species of marine algae, especially giant kelp, can grow at an astonishing pace, sometimes more than 1 meter in a single day. This rapid growth allows kelp forests to form dense underwater worlds that support thousands of species. Tall kelp stalks become shelter, food, and nursery grounds for fish, invertebrates, and marine mammals. These forests also help absorb carbon, making them important not only for biodiversity, but for the health and balance of the ocean's ecosystems and the climate above. The ocean contains more gold than all the gold mines on land. It sounds almost unbelievable, but the world's oceans hold an estimated 20 million tons of dissolved gold, more than all the gold ever mined from land. The catch is that this treasure is spread incredibly thin through seawater, only a few parts per trillion, invisible to the eye and far too dilute to extract economically with today's methods. Gold reaches the ocean through rivers, underwater volcanic activity, and hydrothermal vents, circulating endlessly through marine systems. In rare places, it can concentrate near certain mineral deposits, sparking interest in what might one day be possible. For now, though, this silent sea of gold remains hidden, a reminder of how immense and largely untapped the ocean truly is. The deepest part of the ocean is deeper than Mount Everest is tall. The Mariana Trench in the Western Pacific is the deepest known point in the world's oceans. Its lowest section, called Challenger Deep, plunges to nearly 11 kilometers beneath sea level. By comparison, Mount Everest rises about 8.8 kilometers above sea level. If Everest were placed at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, its summit would still be more than a kilometer underwater. The pressure down there is extreme, over 1,000 times the pressure at the surface, creating a world so hostile that only specially adapted organisms can survive. And yet, even in this darkness, expeditions have discovered strange life forms thriving in the abyss, quietly challenging what we believe life is capable of enduring. More than 80% of the ocean is still unexplored. Even though the ocean covers more than 70% of Earth's surface, scientists estimate that over 80% of it remains unmapped and unexplored. Deep trenches, underwater mountain ranges, and wide abyssal plains still lie in mystery, barely understood. Advances like remotely operated vehicles, autonomous underwater drones, and sophisticated sonar mapping have begun to peel back the ocean's secrets, revealing new species and surprising geological features again and again. The ocean remains one of Earth's last great frontiers, full of unknowns that may reshape what we understand about biology, geology, and climate in the years to come. Sea otters use rocks as tools to open shellfish. Sea otters are among the few animals known to use tools in the wild, and their favorite tool is wonderfully simple: a rock. They dive to the sea floor to collect shellfish like clams, sea urchins, and mussels, then use stones to crack the hard shells open. Sometimes they carry a rock with them. Other times they use a rock on the seabed as an anvil. By smashing and pounding their prey against stone, they reach the nutritious food inside. This behavior requires skill and learning, often passed from mother to pup, a quiet sign of intelligence, memory, and culture beneath the waves. More species live in the ocean than on land. The ocean may be the most biologically diverse habitat on Earth. Scientists believe it could host millions more species than land does, ranging from microscopic plankton to giant whales. Its biodiversity spreads across countless ecosystems: coral reefs, kelp forests, deep-sea vents, and icy polar edges. And many marine species are still undiscovered, especially in the deep sea and remote regions, making the ocean a vast, living treasure trove. This richness supports complex food webs and plays a crucial role in the balance of life on our planet. The ocean's coral reefs are some of the most diverse ecosystems on Earth. Coral reefs cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, yet they support about a quarter of all marine species. That's why they're often called the rainforests of the sea. These vibrant environments are built by tiny coral polyps that create calcium carbonate skeletons, forming complex structures that provide food, shelter, and breeding grounds for fish, invertebrates, and algae. Reefs protect coastlines from storms and erosion, and they help sustain fisheries that feed millions of people. But they are also fragile, highly sensitive to warming waters and ocean acidification, which is why reef conservation has become a global priority. Underwater volcanoes create new land and influence ocean chemistry. The seafloor is dotted with thousands of underwater volcanoes, many of them clustered along tectonic boundaries. These submarine volcanoes erupt, releasing molten lava that cools quickly and becomes new crust. Over time, eruptions can build underwater mountains and even islands, reshaping the ocean landscape. Volcanic activity also releases minerals and gases into seawater, changing the ocean's chemistry and supporting unusual ecosystems. Hydrothermal vents near these regions host remarkable life forms that rely on chemicals from Earth's interior rather than sunlight, revealing a hidden world thriving in extreme conditions. The ocean's thermohaline circulation acts like a global conveyor belt. Thermohaline circulation is a vast, slow-moving current system driven by differences in water temperature and salt content. Warm, salty surface water flows from the tropics toward the poles. There, it cools, becomes denser, and sinks into the deep ocean. That cold water then travels along the ocean floor, back toward lower latitudes in a global loop, often called the conveyor belt. This circulation distributes heat and nutrients around the planet, helping regulate climate and support marine ecosystems. If this system changes or weakens, the effects can ripple across global weather patterns and ocean health. Some deep-sea creatures can generate their own light. In the dark depths where sunlight never reaches, many animals produce light through bioluminescence. This glow comes from chemical reactions inside their bodies, and it can be used to attract prey, communicate, confuse predators, or even camouflage. An anglerfish, for example, uses a glowing lure to draw prey close. Certain squid and jellyfish flash light to disorient attackers. Bioluminescence is widespread in the deep sea, and it remains one of the most mesmerizing adaptations to life in darkness. The ocean is home to animals bigger than dinosaurs. The blue whale is the largest animal known to have ever lived on Earth. These gentle giants can grow to around 30 meters in length, about 100 feet, and weigh as much as 200 tons, roughly the weight of 33 elephants. Despite their size, blue whales feed mostly on tiny shrimp-like creatures called krill, consuming enormous amounts during feeding seasons. Their hearts can be as large as small cars, and their calls can travel across vast distances underwater. They are a living reminder of the ocean's scale and the extraordinary life it holds. The ocean's salinity varies across different regions. Seawater isn't equally salty everywhere. Salinity, the concentration of dissolved salts, changes with evaporation, rainfall, temperature, and the amount of fresh water flowing in from rivers. The Red Sea, for instance, is among the saltiest bodies of water because evaporation is high and rainfall is low. The Baltic Sea is much less salty because it receives significant river input. These differences affect water density, currents, and the distribution of marine life. Salinity also plays a crucial role in regulating ocean circulation and climate patterns around the world. Some coral reefs are over 10,000 years old. Coral reefs are among the oldest living structures on Earth. Some have been growing continuously for more than 10,000 years, surviving dramatic shifts in sea levels, climate, and ocean chemistry. These ancient reefs form the backbone of ecosystems that support a quarter of all marine species. Their longevity and complexity make them vital for biodiversity, fisheries, and coastal protection. Yet today, threats like warming waters and pollution put even these time-tested ecosystems at risk, reminding us how important conservation has become. The ocean is home to the largest living structure on Earth. The Great Barrier Reef, stretching for more than 2,300 kilometers off the coast of Australia, is the largest living structure on the planet. Built by billions of tiny coral polyps over thousands of years, it supports an incredible variety of life: fish, corals, and marine mammals in breathtaking abundance. Its size is so immense that it can be seen from space. The reef provides vital habitat, protects coastlines, and supports tourism and fisheries. But it faces serious threats from coral bleaching, climate change, and pollution, making its protection a global priority. The deep sea is the largest habitat on Earth by volume. Although the surface of the ocean is what we see, the deep sea, the regions below about 200 meters, forms the largest habitat on Earth by volume. It covers more than half the planet and holds over 90% of the ocean's water. This dark, cold, high-pressure world is home to countless creatures adapted to extremes. Yet it remains one of the least explored places on Earth, with many species still unknown to science. Understanding the deep sea means understanding the hidden majority of our living planet. The ocean's dead zones are areas with very low oxygen. Dead zones are regions where oxygen levels drop so low that most marine life cannot survive. These hypoxic areas often form when nutrient pollution from rivers and agricultural runoff fuels algae blooms. When the algae die, decomposition consumes oxygen, leaving the water depleted and inhospitable. Dead zones can devastate fisheries and disrupt ecosystems, and they've been increasing in number and size in many parts of the world. They are a growing challenge for ocean health and for communities that rely on the sea for food and work. Hydrothermal vents support ecosystems powered by chemicals instead of sunlight. Hydrothermal vents are underwater geysers found near volcanic activity on the ocean floor. They release superheated, mineral-rich water, creating extraordinary ecosystems in complete darkness. Instead of photosynthesis, organisms here rely on chemosynthesis, where bacteria convert chemicals like hydrogen sulfide into energy. These bacteria form the base of the food chain, supporting tube worms, giant clams, and strange fish adapted to harsh conditions. Vent ecosystems challenge our ideas of what life needs, hinting at possibilities for life in extreme environments elsewhere in the universe. The sperm whale has the largest brain of any animal. Among all animals, the sperm whale has the largest brain by mass, around 7 kilograms or about 15 pounds. This powerful brain supports complex behaviors, deep diving, sophisticated communication, and rich social structures. Sperm whales can dive more than 2,000 meters deep to hunt squid, using echolocation to navigate and find prey in the darkness. Their intelligence and social lives make them fascinating subjects for studying cognition and the evolution of large brains in the ocean's depths. Ocean waves can travel thousands of miles without losing much energy. Waves formed by winds blowing across the surface can travel enormous distances, sometimes thousands of miles, carrying the energy of storms far from where they began. Swells born from Pacific storms can reach shores in Hawaii or along the coasts of California, shaping coastlines and influencing marine navigation and surfing conditions. This long-distance travel also affects the movement of nutrients in coastal waters, showing how connected the ocean can be across vast space. The ocean absorbs around 30% of human-produced carbon dioxide. The ocean acts as a major carbon sink, absorbing roughly 30% of the carbon dioxide released by human activity, such as burning fossil fuels. This helps slow global warming, but it also changes seawater chemistry in a process called ocean acidification. Acidification can harm organisms that build shells or skeletons from calcium carbonate, including corals and many shellfish. Scientists continue to study how carbon uptake reshapes ocean ecosystems and what that means for Earth's climate future. The ocean holds nearly 20 times more carbon than the atmosphere. The ocean stores an enormous reservoir of carbon, about 20 times more than what's found in the atmosphere. This storage plays a critical role in regulating global climate. Tiny marine plants like phytoplankton absorb carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, and when they die, some of that carbon sinks to the seafloor, where it can be trapped for centuries or longer. This natural mechanism helps balance carbon levels, though it can be affected by environmental changes that influence ocean health. The ocean's phytoplankton population experiences seasonal blooms visible from space. Phytoplankton can multiply rapidly when sunlight and nutrients are just right, creating vast blooms that can sometimes be seen from space. These blooms fuel the marine food web, supporting fish, whales, and countless other forms of life. Yet some blooms can also become harmful, producing toxins that affect marine animals and humans. Satellites monitor these patterns to track ecosystem changes and ocean health across the globe. Mangrove forests protect coastlines and are crucial carbon sinks. Mangroves grow along tropical coasts, forming dense forests with tangled roots that stabilize sediments and soften the impact of waves. They protect shorelines from erosion, storm surges, and rising seas. Mangroves are also powerful carbon sinks, storing large amounts of carbon in their wood and soil, often more per area than many land forests. They provide nursery habitats for fish and shelter for birds, making them essential ecosystems for both climate and biodiversity. The ocean's deep trenches are some of the least explored places on Earth. Deep ocean trenches, like the Mariana Trench and the Tonga Trench, are among the most mysterious environments on the planet. These narrow valleys plunge thousands of meters beneath the surface and remain difficult to access because of their crushing pressure and perpetual darkness. Even so, scientists have found unique organisms living there, adapted to conditions once thought impossible. Exploring trenches helps us understand Earth's geology and the limits of life, but so much remains unknown. The blob is a massive patch of warmer water that can affect Pacific weather patterns. The blob refers to an enormous area of unusually warm ocean water that appeared in the Pacific in recent years. Stretching across hundreds of miles, it can disrupt marine ecosystems by altering currents and changing the behavior and migration of sea life. It has also been linked to unusual weather patterns along the west coast of North America, including drought conditions and shifting fish populations. The blob is a reminder that ocean temperature changes can have wide-reaching impacts on both climate and ecosystems. The ocean can generate energy through tidal power and wave energy. The ocean is a vast source of renewable energy. Tidal power harnesses the predictable rise and fall of tides, driven by the moon's gravity, using turbines that convert motion into electricity. Wave energy captures the up and down movement of the sea surface to power generators. These technologies could provide clean energy for coastal communities and reduce reliance on fossil fuels, though challenges remain in scaling them safely and minimizing environmental impact. Bioluminescent algae can cause sea sparkle. Sea sparkle is a magical phenomenon created by bioluminescent algae, tiny organisms that emit light when disturbed. At night, waves or movement in the water can trigger a soft blue-green glow, making shorelines appear to shimmer and sparkle. This natural light show can be breathtaking, and it also serves ecological purposes, such as deterring predators or helping organisms communicate. Sea sparkle offers a gentle glimpse of the ocean's glowing, hidden life. The ocean's microplastics are widespread and impact marine life at all levels. Microplastics, tiny plastic particles less than 5 millimeters, are now found throughout the ocean, from the surface to deep-sea sediments. They come from broken-down plastic waste, synthetic clothing fibers, and some personal care products. Microplastics can be ingested by animals of all sizes, from plankton to whales, causing physical harm and introducing toxins into food webs. Their widespread presence poses a growing threat to ocean health and the safety of seafood consumed by humans. The ocean produces over half of the world's oxygen. Forests are often praised as the lungs of the earth. But the ocean actually produces more than half of the oxygen we breathe. This is largely thanks to phytoplankton, microscopic plants that float near the surface and use sunlight to turn carbon dioxide into oxygen through photosynthesis. Though they are tiny, they are abundant beyond imagination, forming the foundation of marine food webs and supporting life on Earth in quiet, constant rhythm. The ocean's currents regulate global climate. Ocean currents move heat and nutrients around the planet like enormous conveyor belts. They carry warm water from the equator toward the poles and return cooler water back toward the tropics. The Gulf Stream, for example, transports warm Caribbean water across the Atlantic, helping keep Western Europe milder than other regions at the same latitude. When currents shift, weather patterns can change, sometimes contributing to droughts, storms, or unusual cold snaps, showing how deeply the ocean shapes the world above it. The ocean has its own weather systems, like underwater tornadoes called vortices. Just as the atmosphere has storms and swirling systems, the ocean has dynamic patterns beneath the surface. One striking example is vortices, spinning columns of water that can form when currents collide or flow around obstacles. These powerful swirls can stretch for miles, mixing nutrients, redistributing heat, and shaping habitats. In many ways, the ocean's hidden motion is as lively and complex as the sky. The ocean's abyssal plains are some of the flattest places on Earth. Far below the surface, the seafloor includes vast flat regions known as abyssal plains. These plains can stretch for thousands of square kilometers and are among the flattest surfaces on the planet. Formed by fine sediments settling slowly over millions of years, they lie at depths between about 3,000 and 6,000 meters. Even in darkness and crushing pressure, these plains support diverse communities adapted to life in an environment that feels almost otherworldly. The ocean's ice sheets affect global sea levels and ocean currents. The massive ice sheets of Antarctica and Greenland hold enough frozen water to significantly influence global sea levels. When these ice sheets melt or grow, sea levels rise or fall, changing coastlines around the world. Fresh water from melting ice can also alter ocean salinity and density, affecting currents that help regulate climate. This connection between polar ice and the ocean shows how tightly Earth systems are woven together, and how changes in one region can ripple across the entire planet. some sharks can detect electrical fields produced by other animals. Certain sharks can sense faint electrical signals generated by the muscle movements of other creatures. This ability, called electroreception, helps them locate prey hidden in sand or murky water when visibility is poor. Special organs, known as the ampullae of Lorenzini, detect these tiny signals, giving sharks a remarkable edge as hunters. It's a reminder that the ocean is full of senses and perceptions that humans can barely imagine. The ocean's mesopelagic zone is known as the Twilight Zone. Between roughly 200 and 1,000 meters deep lies the mesopelagic zone, often called the Twilight Zone. Here, sunlight is dim and ghostly, not enough for photosynthesis, but still enough to cast faint shadows. Many animals in this zone have large eyes adapted to low light, and many create their own glow through bioluminescence. It's a transitional world between the bright surface and the deep darkness below, filled with life that thrives in the gentle hush of limited light. Coral spawning often happens simultaneously across entire reefs once a year. Many coral species take part in a spectacular event called coral spawning at certain times, often synchronized with lunar cycles and water temperature. Corals release eggs and sperm into the water all at once. This mass spawning increases the chances of fertilization and can create a drifting cloud of life visible from boats, and sometimes even detectable from above. It's an essential process for reef regeneration and one of the ocean's most beautiful, quiet rituals. The ocean's kelp forests provide habitat for thousands of species. Kelp forests are dense underwater ecosystems built from large seaweed that grows upward in tall, flowing towers. These forests create complex, three-dimensional habitats, offering food, shelter, and breeding grounds for countless creatures, from tiny invertebrates to larger fish and sea mammals. Kelp can grow quickly in cold, nutrient-rich waters, and it also helps protect coastlines by reducing wave energy. Ecologically and environmentally, kelp forests are among the ocean's most valuable living structures. Some squid use jet propulsion to escape predators at high speeds. Many squid have a powerful escape strategy called jet propulsion. They rapidly pull water into a cavity in their bodies, then forcefully expel it through a funnel, launching themselves backward with sudden speed. This burst of motion helps them evade predators quickly in open water. Jet propulsion combines speed with agility, showing the ocean's constant dance between hunter and hunted. The ocean's salt is primarily derived from volcanic activity and rock weathering. The saltiness of the sea is the result of long, slow processes that have been unfolding for millions of years. Minerals are washed from rocks on land and carried by rivers to the ocean. Volcanic activity also releases gases and minerals into the atmosphere and sea. As water evaporates, it leaves the minerals behind, allowing salts to accumulate. The most common is sodium chloride, which gives seawater its familiar taste. This cycle has continued for billions of years, keeping salinity within ranges that marine life depends on. Many marine animals use Earth's magnetic field for navigation. Sea turtles, salmon, whales, and some fish can sense Earth's magnetic field, using it like a natural compass. This magnetoreception helps them navigate across vast distances, find feeding areas, and return to breeding grounds, sometimes traveling thousands of kilometers through open water with astonishing precision. Scientists are still learning exactly how animals detect these magnetic cues, but it's clear that this hidden sense plays a vital role in survival and migration across the oceans. Some sea stars can regenerate entire bodies from a single arm. Sea stars have extraordinary regenerative abilities. If they lose an arm to injury or predation, they can regrow it. In some species, a single arm, along with part of the central disc, can regenerate into an entire new sea star as long as the necessary tissue is present. This ability helps them survive attacks and maintain populations, and it also makes them a fascinating subject for studying healing and regeneration. The ocean's plastic pollution can enter the food chain through tiny organisms. As plastic breaks down in the sea, it becomes small enough to be eaten by plankton and other tiny filter feeders. These organisms sit at the foundation of ocean food webs, so when they consume microplastics, contamination begins moving upward through the chain. Fish, shellfish, and larger predators can accumulate plastics over time. This raises concerns for ecosystem health and for humans who depend on the ocean for food, underscoring the urgency of reducing plastic waste. Ocean acidification threatens shell-building creatures like clams and crabs. When the ocean absorbs carbon dioxide, seawater becomes more acidic. This makes it harder for animals that build calcium carbonate shells and skeletons, like clams, oysters, crabs, and corals, to form and maintain those structures. More acidic water can weaken shells and slow growth, putting ecosystems and fisheries at risk. Scientists continue monitoring these chemical changes because they may shape the ocean's future in ways we are only beginning to understand. The ocean surface layer is only a few meters thick, but crucial for life. The top layer of the ocean, sometimes called the mixed surface layer, can be surprisingly thin, often only a few meters deep. Yet it plays an enormous role. It absorbs sunlight, enabling photosynthesis by phytoplankton, which supports the entire marine food web. It's also where the ocean and atmosphere exchange gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Despite its thinness, this layer influences weather, climate, and marine health worldwide, a delicate boundary that quietly sustains life. Many marine mammals use complex vocalizations for communication. Whales, dolphins, and seals communicate through songs, clicks, whistles, and calls. These sounds can convey identity, location, social bonds, and mating readiness. Some whale songs can travel hundreds of miles underwater, connecting animals across vast distances in a world where visibility is limited. Researchers study these vocalizations to understand behaviors and societies, and to measure how noise pollution may interfere with communication in the sea. The ocean contains underwater lakes and rivers with different chemistry. Beneath the ocean, there are strange features that resemble lakes and rivers, pools of water with different chemical compositions, often far saltier and denser than the surrounding sea. Because they are heavier,
These brine pools don't mix easily. They can sit in seafloor depressions and even flow along the bottom like slow rivers, creating unique habitats.
Some brine pools are so extreme that only specialized organisms can survive there, expanding what we know about the ocean's hidden diversity. The ocean's salt content has remained stable for millions of years. Even though minerals are constantly entering the ocean through rivers and volcanic activity, the overall salinity has remained remarkably stable over immense spans of time. This balance exists because natural processes remove salts, including the formation of mineral deposits and the way marine organisms use dissolved minerals in shells and skeletons. This long-term stability is essential for life adapted to specific salinity levels, and it helps regulate currents and climate patterns across the globe. Some fish can see ultraviolet light invisible to humans. Certain fish species can perceive ultraviolet light, a part of the spectrum human eyes cannot see. This UV vision can help them detect prey, spot predators, and recognize mates. In shallow, sunlit waters, ultraviolet sensitivity can increase contrast, and some species may use UV markings as a hidden form of communication. It's one more example of how the ocean holds sensory worlds that exist beyond our perception. Whale songs can travel thousands of kilometers. In the ocean, sound travels efficiently, and whales take full advantage of that. Their songs and calls can carry across entire basins, traveling thousands of kilometers through deep water. These sounds may be used for mating, social bonding, navigation, and staying connected in a vast environment where sight is limited. Studying whale vocalizations helps researchers understand populations and behaviors, and supports conservation efforts for these majestic creatures. Ocean currents can influence the spread of pollutants and marine debris. Currents don't only move heat and nutrients, they also transport plastic, chemicals, and waste. Debris can travel thousands of kilometers and accumulate in remote regions, including massive garbage patches in the Pacific. Because currents cross borders, pollution becomes a global issue. Understanding how currents move helps scientists predict where contaminants will go and develop strategies to reduce harm and improve ocean health. The ocean's largest predators, like great white sharks, have slow reproduction rates. Many apex predators mature slowly and produce relatively few offspring. Great white sharks, for example, can take more than a decade to reach adulthood. This slow life cycle makes them especially vulnerable to overfishing and environmental disruption because populations recover very slowly. Protecting these predators is important, not only for their survival, but for maintaining balance in the ecosystems they help regulate. Sea cucumbers play a vital role in recycling nutrients on the ocean floor. Sea cucumbers may look simple, but they are crucial to seafloor health. They crawl along the seabed, eating detritus, dead plant and animal material, and tiny organic particles in the sediment. As they digest this material, they release nutrient-rich waste that enriches the seafloor and supports microbes and small organisms that sustain larger life. In many habitats, sea cucumbers are considered ecosystem engineers because they help oxygenate sediment and prevent harmful buildup. Without them, the delicate web of deep ocean life could begin to unravel. The ocean's deadliest creatures often use venom or toxins for defense. Some of the most dangerous ocean animals don't rely on size or speed. They rely on chemistry. Box jellyfish venom can be deadly, capable of causing heart failure in humans within minutes. Stonefish, camouflaged against the seabed, deliver venom through sharp spines that can cause extreme pain and even death. Cone snails use a venomous harpoon to immobilize prey almost instantly. These toxins evolved over millions of years, and while they can be terrifying, they're also studied for medical potential, including new painkillers and treatments for heart disease and cancer. Even the ocean's deadliest creatures can inspire life-saving discoveries. Some marine plants can survive in extreme salinity conditions. Not all ocean plants live in gentle salt water. In salt marshes and coastal lagoons, where evaporation increases salinity, certain plants and algae survive levels of salt far beyond what most life can tolerate. Some have cells that expel excess salt, while others store it safely. Mangroves, for instance, filter salt through their roots, allowing them to thrive in coastal environments, while also protecting shorelines from erosion and storms. These salt-tolerant plants support biodiversity, provide habitat, and store carbon. Proof that life can flourish even in harsh conditions. The ocean's surface temperature has risen significantly over the past century. Over the last century, human activity has increased greenhouse gases, warming the planet. The ocean's surface has warmed too, with serious consequences. Warmer waters can stress coral reefs and trigger bleaching. Fish and marine animals may shift toward cooler regions, altering food webs and fishing grounds. Warmer oceans can also intensify storms, influencing weather worldwide. Scientists track ocean temperature carefully because even small increases can ripple through ecosystems, sea levels, biodiversity, and the overall health of the planet. Oceanic white-tip sharks are among the most aggressive species to humans. Oceanic white-tip sharks are large predators found across tropical and subtropical waters. They are recognized by the white tips on their fins and by their curious, sometimes bold behavior. These sharks have been implicated in incidents involving divers and shipwreck survivors, where persistence and investigation can escalate into aggression. Despite their reputation, they are important apex predators that help maintain healthy food chains. Sadly, they are considered vulnerable due to overfishing and habitat pressures, highlighting the need for protection. The ocean's microscopic viruses are the most abundant biological entities on Earth. The ocean is filled with viruses, so many that they outnumber all other biological entities combined. These microscopic viruses play a major role in ocean ecology. By infecting bacteria and other microorganisms, they regulate populations and recycle nutrients. When viruses kill microbes, organic matter is released back into the water, fueling the microbial food web and influencing carbon cycling. Scientists estimate there are around 10 to the power of 31 viruses in the ocean, tiny, unseen agents that shape life on a planetary scale. Some corals form symbiotic relationships with algae that provide them energy. Coral reefs are built by coral polyps, tiny animals, but their success depends on a vital partnership. Inside coral tissues live microscopic algae called zooxanthellae.
These algae perform photosynthesis, producing energy that the corals use to grow and build their skeletons. In return, the algae gain shelter and nutrients from the coral. This relationship allows corals to thrive in nutrient-poor waters. But when temperatures rise or pollution stresses corals, they may expel the algae, leading to coral bleaching, a serious threat to reef health worldwide. The ocean's sea ice covers around 7% of the surface, but plays a huge role in climate. Sea ice may cover only a small fraction of the ocean's surface, mostly near the poles, yet it has an outsized influence on Earth's climate. By reflecting sunlight back into space, sea ice helps keep the planet cooler. It also provides habitat for polar wildlife. As sea ice melts, darker ocean water absorbs more heat, accelerating warming in a feedback loop. Melting ice can also affect ocean circulation and weather patterns.
Scientists watch sea ice closely because it's a sensitive indicator of climate change and a powerful piece of Earth's environmental balance. Mangroves can filter salt out of seawater to survive in coastal environments. Mangroves live where fresh water meets the ocean, a place too salty for most trees. They survive through remarkable adaptations. Their roots block much of the salt from entering the plant. Any salt that slips through can be stored in older leaves, which eventually fall, carrying salt away. This allows mangroves to grow in salty, oxygen-poor soils where few trees can survive. Mangrove forests protect coastlines, provide nurseries for fish, and store large amounts of carbon, making them vital for both marine ecosystems and climate stability. Some fish can change color rapidly for camouflage or communication. Certain species can shift their colors and patterns quickly, either to blend into their surroundings or send signals to others. This ability is made possible by chromatophores, specialized cells containing pigments that can expand or contract. Camouflage masters like flounder or cuttlefish can match the seafloor or coral, hiding from predators or sneaking up on prey. Color change can also be used in mating displays, territorial disputes, or warnings. It's a living language of light and pattern, and another example of how creative evolution can be beneath the sea. The ocean's marine snow is a constant shower of organic material. Marine snow is a slow, continuous fall of organic particles drifting from the surface down into the deep. It can include dead plankton, fecal pellets, bits of algae, and other detritus. For deep-sea creatures far from sunlight, marine snow is a crucial food source. It also moves nutrients downward and connects surface ecosystems to the abyss. In the ocean's carbon cycle, marine snow helps transport carbon into deep water and sediments, where it can be stored for centuries or longer. Seagrass meadows are among the most carbon-rich ecosystems on the planet. Seagrass meadows in shallow coastal waters are some of Earth's most efficient carbon sinks. They capture and store carbon in their roots and surrounding sediment, often called blue carbon. Seagrasses also trap sediment, reduce erosion, and improve water clarity. They provide habitat for fish, turtles, and many other animals. Protecting and restoring seagrass meadows is increasingly seen as a nature-based way to reduce carbon in the atmosphere and support healthy coastlines. Some crabs use sea anemones as protective weapons on their claws.
Certain crabs have formed an unusual partnership with sea anemones. They carry anemones on their claws like living weapons. The crab benefits from the anemone's stinging tentacles, which deter predators and rivals. The anemone gains mobility and access to food scraps stirred up by the crab. By waving these stinging companions at threats, the crab defends itself without producing toxins. A clever example of cooperation shaped by evolution. The ocean has giant barrel sponges that can live for thousands of years. Giant barrel sponges are among the longest living animals in the sea. Some individuals may live for more than 2,000 years. These large, barrel-shaped sponges filter enormous volumes of water, removing bacteria and particles and helping keep reef ecosystems healthy. Their slow growth and layered tissues can record environmental changes over centuries, turning them into living archives of the ocean's past. Yet even these ancient creatures are vulnerable to pollution, warming, and physical damage, making their conservation important for reef biodiversity. The ocean's tides also affect some animal reproductive cycles. Many marine animals time reproduction to the rhythm of tides and lunar phases. Certain fish, crabs, and corals synchronize spawning with high tides, helping larvae disperse and reducing the risk of predation.
This timing increases survival by matching young life with safer conditions and abundant food. It's a gentle reminder that ocean life is often guided by invisible forces: the pull of the moon, the turning of the earth, and the steady breath of the sea. Certain fish use electric fields to hunt or communicate. Some fish can generate and detect electric fields, using them to navigate, communicate, and hunt in dark or murky waters. Electric eels produce powerful shocks to stun prey or defend themselves. Others, like knifefish and elephantfish, emit weaker signals that act like a biological radar, helping them sense nearby objects and communicate with one another. It's an extraordinary adaptation, a different way of seeing the world, shaped by life in water where vision isn't always enough. The ocean contains naturally occurring oil seeps that support unique communities. Natural oil seeps release hydrocarbons slowly from the seafloor into the water. Around these seeps, specialized bacteria break down oil and use it as an energy source. This supports unusual communities of clams, tube worms, and other creatures that thrive in habitats unlike typical marine environments. These ecosystems show how life can adapt to extreme chemistry and how the ocean constantly finds ways to build thriving worlds in unexpected places. The ocean's surface layer is home to floating organisms called the neuston. The neuston is a community of organisms living at or near the ocean's surface, right at the boundary between water and air. It includes tiny algae, bacteria, jellyfish larvae, floating snails, and other delicate life forms. Neuston organisms play important roles in ocean food webs and nutrient cycling, and because they live in such a thin, exposed layer, they are highly sensitive to pollution and temperature changes. Studying them helps scientists understand how surface ecosystems connect to global ocean health. Some marine worms build complex tube structures that support coral reefs. Certain marine worms, such as the colorful Christmas tree worm, construct intricate tubes made of calcium carbonate, embedding them directly into coral reefs. These delicate spiral crowns may look decorative, but the tubes themselves serve as protective shelters. By creating these structures, the worms increase the physical complexity of the reef. Their tubes offer hiding places not only for the worms, but also for tiny crustaceans and other small organisms. In this quiet way, these small engineers strengthen reef biodiversity and resilience, helping coral ecosystems remain stable and vibrant over time. The ocean's waves are generated primarily by wind, but also by earthquakes and landslides. Most ocean waves begin with wind. As air moves across the water's surface, it transfers energy, forming waves that can travel thousands of kilometers across open sea. But not all waves are born from wind. Underwater earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and landslides can trigger tsunamis, immense waves capable of crossing entire ocean basins at tremendous speed. While ordinary wind-driven waves shape coastlines and influence daily marine life, tsunamis remind us of the ocean's immense and sometimes destructive power. Certain jellyfish swarms can stretch for miles, impacting local ecosystems. Some jellyfish species form enormous swarms, known as blooms, that can span miles across the ocean surface. These gatherings can significantly alter local ecosystems. Large blooms may compete with fish for food, clog fishing nets, and even interfere with power plant cooling systems in coastal areas. Their formation is often linked to changes in temperature, overfishing of natural predators, and nutrient pollution. Though disruptive at times, jellyfish blooms are also natural expressions of shifting ocean balance. The ocean's largest fish is the whale shark, a gentle filter feeder. The whale shark holds the title of the largest fish species on Earth, growing up to 12 meters long, sometimes even more. Despite their enormous size, whale sharks are peaceful giants. They feed primarily by filtering plankton, fish eggs, and small fish from the water. Swimming slowly with their wide mouths open, they sieve food through specialized gill structures. Found in warm tropical seas, they pose no threat to humans, and their calm presence makes them one of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures. Some marine birds rely on ocean currents to travel vast distances with minimal effort. Seabirds such as albatrosses and petrels use powerful wind currents above the waves to glide effortlessly across immense distances. Through a technique known as dynamic soaring, they harness wind gradients over the ocean's surface, allowing them to travel thousands of kilometers while expending very little energy. By linking distant marine ecosystems through migration and feeding routes, these birds help transport nutrients and maintain ecological connectivity across oceans. The ocean's water cycle plays a major role in global rainfall patterns. The ocean is the driving force behind Earth's water cycle. Vast amounts of water evaporate from its surface, later falling as rain or snow over land and sea. Warm ocean waters provide the moisture that fuels storms, monsoons, and hurricanes. Ocean currents help distribute heat and moisture around the globe, shaping climate patterns in faraway regions. When ocean temperatures shift, rainfall patterns can change too, influencing droughts, floods, and agricultural systems worldwide. Some sea slugs can incorporate chloroplasts from algae into their own cells. Certain sea slugs possess a remarkable ability known as kleptoplasty. After feeding on algae, they steal the algae's chloroplasts, the structures responsible for photosynthesis, and incorporate them into their own cells. These slugs can then use sunlight to generate energy, almost like plants. For weeks or even months, they maintain these borrowed chloroplasts, effectively becoming solar-powered animals. This unusual adaptation blurs the line between plant and animal life and reveals how inventive evolution can be beneath the sea. The ocean's coral skeletons record historical climate data like tree rings. Coral skeletons grow in layers, much like the rings of a tree. Each layer preserves chemical clues about ocean temperature, salinity, and nutrient levels at the time it formed. By studying coral cores, scientists can reconstruct past climate events, including warming periods, El Niño cycles, and shifts in ocean chemistry. These natural archives offer valuable insight into climate history and help researchers better understand the changes unfolding today. Some fish use sonic blasts to communicate or deter predators. Certain fish species produce sound by rapidly contracting specialized muscles near their swim bladders. These sonic signals may serve as mating calls, territorial warnings, or defensive displays. The oyster toadfish, for example, produces a distinctive humming sound to attract mates and establish territory. Because sound travels efficiently underwater, these acoustic signals allow communication across distances where visibility is limited. Ocean eddies can trap nutrients and support localized marine productivity. Ocean eddies are swirling currents that can span dozens or even hundreds of kilometers and persist for weeks or months. These rotating systems can draw nutrient-rich water from the deep and concentrate it near the surface. This creates temporary hotspots of biological productivity where phytoplankton flourish. Fish, seabirds, and marine mammals often gather around eddies to feed. In this way, eddies become dynamic engines of life within the vast ocean. Some crustaceans practice complex mating rituals and parental care. Certain crabs and shrimp engage in elaborate courtship displays, including dances, color changes, and nest-building behaviors to attract mates. After fertilization, many crustaceans guard their eggs carefully, aerating them and protecting them from predators. Some even carry their young until they are capable of surviving independently. These behaviors demonstrate that marine invertebrates can exhibit surprisingly attentive parental care strategies. The ocean's hydrothermal vents emit chemicals that support entire ecosystems without sunlight. Hydrothermal vents release superheated, mineral-rich fluids into the deep sea. Around these vents, life flourishes without any reliance on sunlight. Instead of photosynthesis, bacteria perform chemosynthesis, converting chemicals such as hydrogen sulfide into energy. These bacteria form the base of complex food webs that support giant tube worms, clams, shrimp, and fish. Vent ecosystems prove that life can thrive in complete darkness, powered by Earth's internal heat. Ocean saltwater is heavier than freshwater, causing layering.
Because salt water contains dissolved minerals, it is denser than fresh water. In regions where freshwater rivers meet the sea, lighter water can float above heavier salt water, creating distinct layers. This stratification influences nutrient mixing, oxygen distribution, and marine life behavior. Understanding these layers is essential for studying how ecosystems respond to environmental change. Some deep-sea fish have transparent heads to help them see prey above. A few species of deep-sea fish, such as the barrel-eye fish, possess transparent, dome-shaped heads. Inside these clear domes sit tubular eyes that can rotate upward, allowing the fish to detect prey silhouetted against faint light from above. This remarkable adaptation protects their sensitive eyes while maximizing their ability to hunt in near total darkness. The ocean's plankton population is highly sensitive to temperature changes.
Plankton drift near the ocean surface and form the foundation of the marine food web. Even small changes in water temperature can influence their growth and distribution. Because plankton supports fish, seabirds, and marine mammals, temperature-driven shifts can ripple through entire ecosystems. Seasonal plankton blooms depend on a delicate balance of light and warmth, making them particularly vulnerable to climate change. Many marine organisms use bioluminescence to communicate in the dark. Bioluminescence, the production of light through chemical reactions, is common among deep-sea creatures. Some organisms flash lights to startle predators. Others glow steadily to blend into faint light from above. Bioluminescent signals may attract mates, lure prey, or warn competitors. In a world where sunlight fades quickly, light becomes a language of survival. The ocean surface microlayer is a unique habitat for specialized microorganisms. The surface microlayer is an extremely thin boundary between the ocean and the atmosphere, only millimeters thick. Despite its small size, it hosts diverse communities of microorganisms adapted to fluctuating chemical and physical conditions. This layer plays an important role in gas exchange and nutrient cycling. Because it directly interacts with the air, it is especially sensitive to pollution and climate shifts. Some marine algae can produce biofuels, offering sustainable energy potential. Certain species of seaweed and microalgae grow rapidly and convert sunlight and carbon dioxide into biomass efficiently. This biomass can be processed into bioethanol, biodiesel, or biogas. Unlike land crops, marine algae do not require fresh water or farmland, making them a promising sustainable energy source that does not compete with food production. Research continues to explore how ocean plants might one day contribute to cleaner energy solutions. The ocean's dead zones are growing due to pollution and climate change.
Dead zones, areas of severely reduced oxygen, have increased worldwide. Nutrient pollution from fertilizers and sewage fuels large algae blooms. When algae decompose, oxygen is consumed, leaving marine life unable to survive. Warmer waters further reduce oxygen solubility, worsening the problem. Addressing these expanding dead zones is essential for protecting fisheries and marine biodiversity. Certain fish can survive in both saltwater and freshwater, like salmon. Anadromous fish, such as salmon, hatch in freshwater rivers, migrate to the ocean to mature, and later return to their birthplace to spawn. They possess specialized physiological adaptations that allow them to regulate internal salt balance as they transition between environments. This dual life cycle gives them access to varied resources, but also exposes them to environmental threats in both freshwater and marine systems. The ocean contains underwater canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon. Beneath the sea lie vast submarine canyons carved by sediment flows and tectonic forces. Some, such as Monterey Canyon off California, are deeper and longer than the Grand Canyon. These underwater valleys funnel nutrients to the deep sea and provide unique habitats for marine life. Though dramatic and ecologically important, many remain largely unexplored. Some sea turtles use Earth's magnetic field to navigate thousands of miles. Sea turtles are extraordinary navigators. They detect subtle variations in Earth's magnetic field, allowing them to orient themselves across vast oceans. This magnetic sense helps guide them back to the very beaches where they were born, even after years spent traveling across open water. The ocean's nutrient cycles are driven by upwelling of deep, cold waters. Upwelling occurs when deep, cold, nutrient-rich water rises to the surface. This process delivers nitrogen and phosphorus that stimulate phytoplankton growth.
Regions of strong upwelling, such as along the coasts of Peru and California, support some of the world's richest fisheries. These nutrient cycles are fundamental to ocean productivity and global carbon regulation. Ocean acidification can affect fish behavior and predator avoidance. As ocean chemistry changes, fish sensory systems can be disrupted. Studies suggest that in more acidic waters, some fish may become less cautious and less able to detect predators effectively. These behavioral shifts can alter predator-prey relationships and potentially impact fisheries and marine ecosystems. Some marine species can live for over 200 years, like the Greenland shark. The Greenland shark is among the longest living vertebrates known. Living in cold Arctic waters, it may survive for more than 2 centuries. Its slow growth and metabolism contribute to its longevity. Studying such species provides insight into aging processes and long-term environmental change. The ocean surface reflects about 6% of incoming solar radiation. The ocean reflects a portion of sunlight back into space, a property known as albedo. On average, about 6% of incoming solar radiation is reflected, though this varies with wave conditions and angle of light. This reflection influences Earth's energy balance and climate regulation. Certain marine bacteria can break down plastic, offering hope for pollution cleanup. Some bacteria have demonstrated the ability to degrade certain plastic materials. They produce enzymes that break plastics like PET into simpler compounds. While this natural process is slow, research into these microbes may help develop future solutions to reduce plastic waste in marine environments. As our journey beneath the waves begins to draw to a close, allow the quiet immensity of the ocean to settle gently in your thoughts. This vast, life-filled world continues its slow, rhythmic motion far below the surface, holding mysteries still waiting to be discovered.
May the steady pulse of tides and the soft whisper of currents carry you into deep, restful sleep.
Thank you for joining me on this calming exploration of the ocean's wonders. If you found peace in this journey, consider liking and subscribing to the Sleepy Science channel, where curiosity meets calm each night. Sleep well, stay curious, and until next time, let the ocean's gentle embrace guide you peacefully through the dark.